Hey, happy July, everybody. Welcome to the Common Good Podcast. Rob, it was everything I could do to not put on a tank top today because, man, I'll tell you, I mean, most days I'd prefer just wearing a tank top.
Really?
Occasionally something on the bottom, some shorts or something, but just a tank top usually would do me fine.
I don't believe I've ever worn a tank top in my life.
Is that so?
No.
Well, you know how in the fall they have that no-shave-ember? And I guess people of all varieties, whatever part of their bodies they normally shave, they don't shave for November for some reason. I don't know why. And they have the no drink January or the dry
January.
That's it, just it. Mm-hmm. Well, I think there should be tank top July, and we should just all go full tank tops. And I had it in my hand and thought, oh, I don't know. We'll probably end up with some clips out of this, and then people are going to be like, "That old man wearing a tank top." But boy, I would, because at least where I live here in Minneapolis area, it's 89 degrees today, perfect sunny summer day. Just tank top and one of those Leinenkugel shandies. Just start in the morning and let it roll.
Start in the morning and let it roll. Wow.
Yeah, it's July, baby. It's July. It's Freedom Month. For me, it's my birthday.
Oh.
Wow. July 5. Yeah, so, just small gifts are fine. Maybe a card, maybe a little note, maybe a large donation with a comment in it to votecommongood.com, that kind of thing,
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, and it's going to be the time when MAGA is going to pass the very worst ideas inside of MAGAism into federal law and damage the United States for generations to come. So,
just that.
Put on a tank top and grab a shandy. It was a good run, America. Nice try.
Swim out past the breakers and watch the world die.
Swim out past the breakers. Did you just make that up right now, or is that a phrase?
No, it's a line from a song.
Really?
Yeah.
Good line.
Swim out past the breakers and watch the world die.
Whose song is that?
Is it
a Christian song from your childhood?
No. It's no. I know more than just Christian songs.
Okay, I haven't proven that to me yet, but I believe you.
Breakers. It's Santa Monica by Everclear. Came out in
there's a name.
1995.
There's a name that conjures up alcoholic consumption during the day. They just named their band Everclear. Just went all in case there's any question about what we're doing here, we are Everclear. That's a great line. Swim out past the breakers and watch the world die. All right. Well, that should have been the title of the live stream and podcast. We're far from the shallows now, as our cute little friends in. All right. How are things squirreled away somewhere outside of Fayetteville, Arkansas? Any news for us?
Yeah. Hot.
Sure.
Whimsy spent last week at camp, which was great. She had a wonderful time. We did have throughout the course of the week had several pictures of her. Came through, so proof of life, which was great.
On the website that you were worried about last year that she was not.
That she didn't show up until the day that we went to get her. I told her, I said, honey, the money that's in your little camp account, use that for snacks and stuff. You don't have to buy any souvenirs. When mom and dad come pick you up, we'll get some souvenir kind of stuff then. Okay. First picture. She's wearing a baseball cap that she bought.
Okay, that's not a souvenir though. That's just like it's like camp gear. It's like, count me in.
She had the baseball cap on in every single picture.
There it is.
The week. I don't think she took it off.
Yeah.
And
where do you think she gets that, Rob?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. It's one of those flat billed ones that.
Yeah. No, it's been a thing for a long time. Yeah, that was a big thing back in the 90s when my kids were teenagers.
And
never cared for the look.
Her tongue out in all the pictures.
That's why she wasn't in the earlier pictures from last year. Oh,
that's going to be the YouTube
okay.
thumbnail right there. That kind
Yeah,
of
that's
thing.
the one it'll grab. Yeah.
Tongue out.
You going
flash
90s rapster.
sign, you know, hat backwards at times.
Great. Good for her.
She had a great time.
Good for her. Love it. Love it. Hey, I don't always, on the live stream here, I don't always share funny little memes that I read on Facebook, but I usually just text them to people. But this one from yesterday, I don't know. There we go. I think it's going to focus.
You're going to need to read that to us.
Okay, there you go. Can you read it? When I was a kid, I could go to the store with $1 and come home with 2 bags of chips, 4 candy bars, and a cold drink. Nowadays, they have cameras everywhere. I mean, while we watch the country burn, you just think people are still funny. That's a great joke. Now there's cameras everywhere.
There's times where Vanessa and I would just be like, people are so funny.
So funny.
It's just amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, and I wonder if people on the MAGA right. Well, we should ask Pokey Zion in the chat here on YouTube. He says that the majority of Americans wanted Trump to be president. No, they didn't. The majority of people who voted did. We should ask him. I don't know if on the right they're funny. I mean, like I think the difference between "Let's go, Brandon," the way of saying F you to Joe Biden, compared to Let's Go Taco. I mean, Let's Go Taco is funny. Let's Go Brandon is just another way of being crass little, pea grabbers that the whole crowd is. Just Elon Musk, nasty, cruel, inane people. But maybe humor is just different. Maybe it's just like, be crass and rude and damaging and say things about immigrants and others. Maybe that's what's funny there. I honestly don't know. I don't have any MAGA friends who ever tell me about funny stuff that happens over there that's like creative funny like that versus just sheer nonsense of meanness comes out of it. Do you? I mean, I have MAGA friends that are funny themselves, but I don't know if they're. I don't know if they're. I mean, I'm not saying they're not funny people. I'm saying the content of their material.
Yeah,
is not. I don't know.
I shared in our group text a while back. I shared a MAGA meme. I don't know if it was MAGA, but that I thought was really funny. It said, I just scrolled. I shared this with you on June 22nd, Doug. Breaking.
I'll go back.
Breaking. Federal judge has ordered Trump to rebuild Iran's nuclear facility.
Yeah.
See, I thought that was funny.
Totally.
Like,
totally.
Like, okay. Like, you want to take a shot at the federal judges? Yeah. That's funny.
Yeah, Trump resigns his job to have real power and runs as a district court judge. That one. See, that stuff. Come on.
Yeah.
Come on.
Come on.
And he is senile, is currently wetting himself and wears Depends, which is fine. I've had a bout of Giardia for the last, 2 weeks. And I was picking up a prescription at the Walgreens and wandering around waiting for the prescription to be done. I just happened to stroll down the Depends aisle and looked over and thought, okay, those do make a lot of sense when you're in a situation like this. I did not purchase any, and I'm not wearing them. So yeah, I mean, all the DJT nonsense, all the nonsense about him now selling cologne and perfume.
Cologne? Really?
Did you see this?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, could you Google it for me? I don't want that stuff showing up in my browser history. Yeah, but will you look up, because I know you use one of those web browsers that is for the dark web, so it doesn't track your behavior. So just see about the Trump perfume. I think it's a couple $100, and it makes a great Christmas gift and all the other nonsense.
TrumpFragrances.com.
Trump fragrances.
GetTrumpFragrances.com. Was Trump fragrances taken, so they had to get
I don't know.
Trump fragrances.
Look
Products include
at TrumpFragrances.com and see what that is, because it might be golden shower fragrances.
You're gonna get us an explicit.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, ChatGPT won't make that joke for me. I'll tell you that.
Oh goodness sakes, this guy.
I mean, just spending his time again.
Be available, and they didn't. That's crazy.
That's crazy.
Maybe they know something. Okay, so we've got products including fight, which again, when you think about how you want to smell.
But here it is. Not humor.
Yeah.
Fight. Damage. Kill.
Clones for men, and fight, and Victory 47 perfumes for women. Would you like?
And to be clear, I don't think this is just some off-brand. I think Trump is behind it, right? Like, is he pitching the things?
Oh yeah.
Actually,
you remember like the Old Spice? Was it Old Spice? Was it like the? I know Avon had like the different designs of the bottles.
Oh yeah,
and, the bottle themselves.
Polo had the horse. Yeah.
And then people would collect the Avon bottles.
Oh yeah.
And now when you end up in an estate sale with your wife, walking through somebody's house, looking at all of their stuff that they accumulated through their life,
you're reminded that people collected Avon bottles.
You come across a collection of Avon bottles. Doug, these perfumes and colognes come, well, I was going to say come in a bottle shaped like Donald Trump, but the bottle is not shaped like Donald Trump.
No, it's not.
Shaped like
6'1"
Donald Trump, slim and svelte. They come in a bottle with, some facsimile of Donald Trump as like the little statue on the top of a trophy. This guy is just
like the honey bear. If that my honey is in upstairs, does it look like one of those? Because that's what I would imagine it would look like. But maybe a small little hand being raised above. Is it that kind of thing?
Okay.
All right, let's.
No, it looks like the top of a top of a trophy, with like the little plastic, but it's painted gold, and then of course it's painted. It's standing on a little pedestal, which is probably filled with the cologne. Yeah.
Oh!
Fight!
It's
when you want your partner to smell like
a fight.
Like a fight.
You want your partner to smell like we took money from Snap. You want your partner to give off the aura and the scent of Medicaid cuts. Yeah. What would that smell like?
Yeah.
What would it smell like if you ruined America? What does deep, dark desperation smell like? What does the breaking of the American promise really conjure up in your nasal passages and your smell places? I don't even know what you smell out of. Do you think you smell out of? See, now I'm going to spend half an hour today looking at what part of the body takes in smell. Is it only your nose? Is it also your mouth? Is there some receptors in your eyes? Like, oh my gosh, skin? I don't know. But what does desperation, sadness, and permanent tax cuts with only adding $1 trillion to the debt? So we took money from children around the world, and we're not done yet. Let's take SNAP benefits from working families in America. That's what they're about to do. Yeah. These are and Republicans are doing it knowing it's going to cause that problem. And the only reason they won't say no is that they fear Donald Trump's wrath.
Yeah.
What does the smell of wrath conjure up in you, Republicans? Because that's what you're running from. When we say faith, not fear, this is what we're talking about. Don't have to smell the man. I think Carol's got it right. Okay. Here's Robert. We get Robert a lot. Robert, always appreciate you being around. And again, Robert, I would love to know what guitar you've got in your hand. I'm a guitar player, and I see you also are a man who's chosen to have a guitar in your profile picture, and I appreciate that. And pardon me for whatever is going on this screen, trying to make long comments look okay. Oh, for the love. Look at this, Rob. Look at this.
What is going on?
I don't know. It goes the wrong way as soon as you touch the little thing. This is just fascinating. Look at this. Look at this. It's just nuts. It's just nuts. Let me try to get.
Why?
I don't know. I was trying to.
While you're trying to do this, Doug, let me read a Truth Social post from Donald Trump yesterday. We won't do all Truth Social posts.
We won't do all day.
Yeah, as we did yesterday. But this is yesterday at 6:30 at 2:13 in the afternoon. I'm doing a major conference call with faith leaders from all over the country, and AT&T is totally unable to make their equipment work properly. This is the second time it's happened. If the boss of AT&T, whoever that may be, could get involved, it would be good. There are tens of thousands of people on the line.
There's Donald Trump thinking, how do I call tech support? Again, this is the president of the United States, this man, who is doing the tech work for a call that he's about to do. And you know why they're getting faith people on? Because faith people are losing their mind over the devastation that's going to come from this bill. That's why. Yes. They're trying to shore up once people find out what is in this bill. Here's old Robert saying, oh, but you got to pass the bill in order to see what's in the bill. Do you remember that shit? He says the lunatic lefts were fine with that, but you piss and moan about this. No, Robert, no one was ever fine about that.
We were not. Nancy Pelosi, when she said that ridiculous thing that we've got to pass the bill to know what's in it, that was ridiculous. We're opposed to that too.
Of course, Robert.
Hey, Robert, pay attention. We were people who were calling on Joe Biden to drop out of the presidential race. Come on. Be intellectually honest here.
And look, Robert, here's what
our own side. How about you do that once in a while?
Once.
Right? Please tell us what the dear leader has done wrong. Can you?
And Robert,
do you dare?
And Robert, imagine this. Here's your argument. Your argument is that you think that leftists, which is a great use of the phrase, maybe like me calling you shall we say a fascist? That you're saying that leftists were okay saying pass the bill to find out what's in it, but now you're complaining about that's happening now. So are you saying, Robert, you're okay with politicians passing bills before they know what's in it? Is that your argument? Or are you bothered that they're about to pass a bill, they don't know what's in it? And look, Robert, here's the thing. The problem isn't what we don't know about the bill. The problem is what we know about the bill.
Yes.
That's the problem. Robert, it's not a guess that people are going to be removed from SNAP. It's not a guess that Medicare is going to be cut. It is not a guess that whole programs are going to be eliminated that people depend on. That is certain. That's the point of the bill. So if you want to argue about you got mad about this and not this, go ahead. Tell yourself that's what makes it okay. But if you're going to be like Senator Tillis, or you're going to be like the congressman from North Carolina that's like, I cannot support this, and then turn and say to my constituents, you now are off of Medicaid because of the bill I voted for. And you, Robert, are okay with that. And if you are, fair enough. Just cozy on up to Dear Leader and say, yes, I'm okay with that. Just cozy on up to Elon Musk and say, I'm okay with kids around the world being cut from food programs, that I'm okay with food banks being decimated. Go ahead and say, that's my thing. But if you're going to tell yourself somehow, no, this is all going to make the economy better. No, it is not. You know why? Because the economy is already great. Do you know what happens if the economy gets any better? Inflation. If you're going to try to gin up the economy with tax cuts, do you know why interest rates are high? Because they're trying to, say it with me, Robert, cool the economy. And do you know when that didn't happen? From January 21st through July 1st. Quarter one isn't when they said, oh, everything really pepped up now. In fact, it went just the other way. So what Trump has been up to is to damage every relationship, every part of the federal government. And look, you can say that's just some leftists trying to say it about Trump. This is what they said about themselves. They wanted to bring in a change level that would break things. This is what they brought Elon Musk in for, is all of his brilliant, this is what we do in the techie world. We break things and then we go back in and fix them. That's what they want to do. The point is to break it. And they broke it. And now they're going to break it again. So if you think they're like working on stuff, feel free to live in that world. You know what? God bless you if you can live in that world.
Yeah.
Because the reality has not yet struck you, and it will. The man is a living, pathetic disaster as a president. Do you know why we know this? Because every day he says to a TV camera, Joe Biden was the worst president we ever had, the most incompetent. You know when Donald Trump says that stuff? When he feels insecure. When he stands next to a world leader who is 6'3" and his small little 6'1" frame doesn't match up, and the picture goes around, he just starts getting all worried about not looking big enough. When he walks next to J.D. Vance and looks like a small man, then he doesn't want to walk next to J.D. Vance anymore because he's a small man. And look, nobody cares how tall Donald Trump is. Other than Donald Trump, nobody cares. But I bet if we go back through Truth Social, Rob, we're going to see some posts about how tall Donald Trump is because he met with the G8 leaders, and in the pictures, he looked like a small man.
Yeah. So
with baggy pants.
Yeah. Let's talk about some specifics within the one big beautiful bill.
The one big billionaire bill. That's the only word that I will tolerate in this podcast from anyone's lips is billionaire bill.
Yeah.
How did they miss that? How did they miss renaming it instead they just call it like the bad or the ugly bill? It's just, okay.
So what this bill does is it cuts Medicaid, which is health care for low-income families, low-income seniors. Thousands of people are going to lose millions of people are going to lose their insurance. It cuts SNAP benefits, which used to be called food stamps, by 30%. It's going to, 2 million children around the country are going to lose their ability, to have food to eat. The bill raises the child tax credit from $2,000 to $2,500. However, it makes it more difficult. Families making less than $48,000 a year don't get that child tax credit.
Say that again. Who doesn't get it?
Families making less than $48,000 a year don't get all of the child tax credit money.
If you make less than 48,000, you don't get it.
They raised the amount, but then they limited who can get access to it. And we've talked about how difficult taxes are to do. Doing your taxes now gets even more complicated because to claim the child tax credit, you have to pre-qualify for it first. You have to you have to do tax paperwork before you do your taxes.
Wow.
This bill creates the Trump accounts, which is savings accounts for children, which I'm all in favor of. However, let's be honest, that it's only wealthy families that are going to be able to take advantage of the tax benefits of being able to add up to $5,000 to the Trump account, and the sheer narcissism of naming them that. This bill is bad for farmers. It cuts programs that help farmers protect land and water, that teaches farmers how to, keep soil healthy. It's less money for the programs that buy food from farmers, and especially local farms and family farms. It's bad for seniors. Medicaid is the health care that seniors are on, and cutting at making, strict work rules now.
Yeah.
You want Grandpa's got to be a greeter at Walmart now to be able to keep his Medicaid.
Well, and even more so, what that's going to mean is more government bureaucracy, more cost to check up on people who have to then qualify every 14 days that they're looking for work.
Yep.
Do you know who doesn't work? The trust fund kids involved around the Trump world. But work is so important. It's human dignity. Human dignity.
Yeah. And this is, speaking of work, this is a bad bill for workers. Through the Inflation Reduction Act, which came through during the Biden administration, there was a huge investment in clean energy jobs.
Yep.
And clean energy industries, solar, wind, others. This bill guts those, which is going to cost tens of thousands of jobs, maybe 100,000 jobs around the country. When Medicaid is cut, people will go to the doctor less often.
Or they'll go to the emergency rooms.
Medical jobs, healthcare jobs are gonna be cost by this. Doctors, nurses, other people who work in hospitals and clinics. It's less money in our towns. Without the SNAP benefits being cut, means people have less money to spend at the grocery store. And all of this makes things more difficult and harder for small businesses as well. This bill is bad for everybody, unless you're in the top 1%. Because, the good news is, Doug, and I'm planning on doing a little video about this, hey, I got good news about the one big beautiful bill. $79,000 tax cut if you make over $1 million.
Yeah. Because you know who really needs less costs in their life? People with $1 million salaries of reportable income.
The median income here in Northwest Arkansas, where I live, is $71,000. Much of that is driven by Walmart home office being here, but $71,000. This tax cut is bigger than the median income.
Yeah. Wealthy people are going to get a year's salary from the federal government of the average person squirreled away outside of Fayetteville, Arkansas.
Yeah.
And look, if people think this is not true, if they think that's not what's going to happen, they should speak up.
Yeah. Well, Joni Marie here, just saying I am such a liar. Hey, Joni, listen, Rob's with 2 B's.
There's something interesting in the comments. I just love the comments. We want people to comment. And I want to acknowledge them. Robert always, as we said, starts out that we're leftists. Okay, fair enough. I call people names if you want. We get that. Here's another one now from Gina. Leftists are worried about others. DEI is bad to be equitable. Okay.
I think she's being a little sarcastic.
Yes, right. Wrong, Joni says. Wrong. It stops illegals, not Americans. Meaning the bill is designed to keep illegal immigrants off of receiving benefits.
No.
It does do that. It does put limits on states if they're going to use federal dollars to demand some level of documentation from people. And in addition, it takes money from other people.
And part of the way that works is, SNAP benefits, again, which are food stamps, SNAP benefits, require both parents. So if a child was born in the U.S., has a Social Security number, is a U.S. citizen, presumably for the time being, before that gets taken away, which, we ought to probably need to talk about the Supreme Court and what they did on Friday. If a child is a U.S. citizen with a Social Security number, born here in the U.S., has a parent who has a Social Security number, U.S. citizen, maybe born here, a naturalized citizen, but has another parent who doesn't have a Social Security number, that family loses their SNAP benefits.
Yep.
So are we okay with that?
Yeah.
Like, both parents have to have Social Security numbers, or we're going to make sure that this kid goes hungry?
Yeah.
Now, you can say, I don't want it. I don't want any. Federal government shouldn't be giving money to anybody. Shouldn't be providing any kind of benefits.
Yeah.
Like, you pull it all. Like, if you want to go that route, pull it all out.
Yeah. Let's talk to our farmers.
Okay. Like, you do that and the entire country collapses.
Yeah. The world economy collapses.
Within days.
Yes, within days. Yeah. No, that's that.
Without exaggeration, like, it's
completely.
Okay, so man, you say, well, I don't want to do that. Well, we just help Americans. Well, that kid is an American.
Yeah. And at what point? At what point do we want to decide what makes an American American?
Yeah.
What's our legal status? That's it? Because I'm pretty sure you think that some of the leftists who came in the country and got U.S. status and citizenship are not actually Americans. Because if you want to play the who is really an American game, a United States American, let's start going down that road. Who should receive this? Is it based on your parents? Is it based simply on where you're born? Now, the Constitution tells us if you're born in the United States, citizenship is yours. Donald Trump has said, no. I want to say, who was the parent of the person born in the United States? Oh, that's interesting. You want to make it not off the person who is an American, but off of the behavior of their parents. Oh, that's great. Should we all treat your children, Don, based on your behavior? You, a felon, you, someone who has been charged and fined $84 million for having raped a woman and then lied about it. Should we put that on your children? I think we should not. I think your sins should be your own. You think it should come down to their parents? Who their parents are should determine? Well, I don't know what that means for your wife.
Why stop there?
I mean, why allow anyone to become an American citizen if their parents weren't born here? Hang on, let me finish this thought. What if you, Donald Trump, come into office and take away the pathway to citizenship for 50,000 people, and their child is born here? So when their child was born here, they had legal status, but then you came in like you did with Afghanis and took it from them. Does that child born here now, according to your rules of what was the status of their parent, does that person now have American status in your mind because their parents temporarily had legal status, but then you took it from them after they worked with the United States military in Afghanistan? So if you want to talk about status and how we choose to give legal status to people in this country, start with Donald Trump taking it from people, literally making more illegal, undocumented people in the United States with his executive orders.
By changing the rules in the middle of the game.
That's what he's done.
Yeah.
So you want to get all, hey, Americans only, America first. Oh, shall we get started? Hey, and if you've not taken or looked at the test that someone has to pass in order to receive U.S. citizenship, and you say anything about the right kind of people and do they know anything about America, let's see if you could pass the test. Just pop online real quick, jump away from here, go over and take the test and see if you could pass it. Or are you saying, well, I was born here, because that's not good enough anymore. And if we're going to start with your parents, you know what we're going to get into, Rob? We haven't had a real conversation about the Immaculate Conception of Mary theology in a while. Let me take you into the Immaculate Conception of Mary theology and Catholic theology for those who might find themselves unfamiliar. The word immaculate can be understood as miraculous. Conception means how was the person conceived? Of Mary. A lot of us think, well, that means that Mary was the vessel in which Jesus, the Son of God, was conceived. But any decent theologian of Catholic thought said to themselves, how would that work? Because the vessel would need to be of a different essence for the child of God to be born in that body. So they innovated a theology of the Immaculate Conception of Mary. Not the Immaculate Conception in Mary, but of Mary. That Mary, the mother of our Lord, was conceived through a miraculous action in her mother, which gave her the first level of qualification to be the vessel. So in order for Catholic theology to work around Mary and the birth of Jesus, Mary has to be born miraculously, not of typical pattern, if you know what I'm saying.
But what about Mary's mom?
Well, Mary didn't
keep pushing back every
Sure. At some point, you're going to all end up back at Adam and Eve, the son and daughter of God, and everything should be fine. But that's not what they do. Well, this is the very same problem that you raise, Rob, that people have with, well, what was their parents' legal status when they were born?
Yes.
Well, why do we stop there? And if legal status is just given, let's say a parent showed up in the 1890s or the 1920s in the United States, and they just filled out a form and someone just gave them legal status. They didn't earn it. They didn't qualify for it. They just showed up and the United States government gave it to them. Does that count Or should we go back and say, no, 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 no. By the standards by which we now want people to receive legal status, if we look back at how you received it, yours was invalid. And like we did to people that we promised from Afghanistan, we hereby revoke it. Why not? Where does it ever stop? If it's just simply the capricious choice of government bureaucrats and Donald Trump's executive orders, then what does it mean to be an American? Because we used to have a deal. Born here, you're an American. Some of you want to take SNAP benefits from Americans because of your belief about their parents. Sit with that for a bit and see how snuggled up that feels. See if the fragrance of that smells a little Trumpy. Because I think it does.
Yeah.
Pardon me, Rob, I interrupted your interruption. You were going to say something about your grandfather.
He was born in Canada.
Lefty.
Canadian citizen. Came to the U.S. Never became an American citizen. My dad was born in the United States. So I'm questioning whether or not I'm an American citizen.
Yeah. I got to imagine what's going through old Ted Cruz's mind right now.
That's right. Yeah. Listen, Doug, it's not just the one big billionaire bill that is a problem. We've got this alligator Alcatraz that's opening in Florida, which is people are calling a concentration camp.
Sure looks like an internment camp.
Yeah, holding facility for people who get picked up by by the immigration officers. And there's this whole dehumanizing thing about like surrounding it with alligators, and I just really medieval and cruel and not okay. We have the Supreme Court making decisions that say that federal judges have limited authority, a limited ability to stop the actions of the administration by enforcing nationwide bans and on the implementation of Donald Trump's policies. What the Supreme Court did was much like Congress has done, just completely tie their own hands behind their backs in the ability to stop Donald Trump from doing what he wants to do and opening the door to his agenda. I mean,
yeah, look, this court case last week was interesting. The Supreme Court basically said, we're not ruling on the merits of Donald Trump's executive order. What we're ruling on is what's the limit of a court's injunction? So come back to us now that this injunction has to be reworked. And this is the kind of thing that in the middle of the crisis that we have, to have an example of the law working slowly is terribly difficult.
Yeah.
There is no world in which Donald Trump's executive order taking birthright citizenship away is going to be supported by law. It's just not going to happen. It is ridiculous. It is just, and I don't know why Republicans want their president trying to take away birthright citizenship. What on earth? Okay, by the way, none of your money goes to these people. The only thing you should be afraid of is inflation. They're not getting any of your money. If you are
That's right.
so miserly, truly, in whatever you pay to the federal government that you only want it to go to pay for military bombs to drop on Iran and not for SNAP benefits for children, if that's your problem, you think we should pay bomber pilots and bomb construction companies and not SNAP benefits for children. And you're bothered that your miserly amount of tax dollars go to pay for a morsel of food for a child rather than a bomb. Rest easy. Your money doesn't pay for any of it. Federal taxes don't pay for the federal budget. If that's new news to you, I get how shocking that can be. And if you're still watching and you think that guy's a moron for having said that, I understand that view. You could think that. But it's actually true. The federal budget comes from the Treasury Department being ordered by Congress to produce $1 trillion of spending. When you pay taxes, that money is removed from the economy. New money goes in from the Treasury, your money disappears, and the two are not related. The difference between the total amount of money that's ever gone into the U.S. economy and the total amount that has ever come out, that number is what we call the deficit. I think Rob is frozen. Are you frozen?
I don't know what's going on here.
I think it's your computer. To that point, Michael, thank you for being with us. Michael McIntyre says, Adam Smith on taxes solves the problem of paying for remedies to problems including poverty, upbringing, producing small criminals by taxing the big criminals. Okay, so he says Adam Smith should be the argument. Real quick here, Michael. When Adam Smith was making his argument, there was a certain kind of economy in the United States. It was one based on silver and gold. And it was one that was based on a commodity economy. We don't have a commodity economy anymore. The United States has decided on a fiat currency, meaning produced by the United States government. So the United States government backs the U.S. dollar. And that's the only thing that only backing it has is the promise, the good faith and promise of the U.S. government. It's called a fiat currency. Meaning the United States dollar is not based on anyone else's currency, anyone else's behavior, anyone else's anything. A fiat currency in the United States means that the United States government produces its own money. What Adam Smith was trying to solve was a whole different problem in a different currency. It can't work now, because the environment of the economy is fundamentally different. If you don't believe me, you can go ahead and Google that or run a quick little ChatGPT question and you will wind up with this answer. Why Smith's ideas don't work anymore? Number one, taxes don't, quote, fund the federal government anymore. Point two, the balanced budget idea is outdated. In the fiat system, deficits are normal and necessary. They reflect private sector savings and government investment. The summary, Adam Smith versus fiat currency. In Adam Smith's world, the role of taxes was to fund the federal government. In our world, it's to manage inflation and create currency demand. That's why we're done with Adam Smith.
Yeah.
Welcome to July 2025.
Adam Smith could be used on a state level or a local level to help guide a philosophy and approach for taxes and spending. Can't be used on the federal level. Can't be.
It's because that's not how our economy is structured. It's not like, oh, it doesn't work. Like, well, if we did it better, it could work. No, it's just like, I need a better an analogy for this. But it's not the situation we have anymore. We don't. It's like having a gas engine that you're trying to put in a crappy old Tesla that you picked up on the side because people don't want to drive them anymore. There is no place for the gas engine. That's not how it runs. It runs off of a battery, not off of combustion. The federal government does not run off of U.S. tax dollars. This is truly... look, I first learned that idea from Rush Limbaugh. So if you think this is all sort of crazy talk, it probably is coming from that guy. But it also happened to be true. That's how the federal government is set up. Everyone in the federal government knows it. Now, there is a relationship to how much taxes we should take because we do want to control inflation. So we're going to take some money out of the economy every time new money goes in. And there's two ways we take it out. Taxes, and then we ask people to voluntarily take it out by buying bonds. Those are the two ways we get money out of the economy.
Yep. And the question becomes, how do we want to take that money out of the economy? And from whom? If we need to take that money out of the economy, who is it going to hurt less to take that money out of the economy?
Yes. And Republicans know all this stuff, and they have an idea. It's better.
Yep.
It's better to take it from SNAP benefits and Medicaid than to take it from the richest people in the country.
Yep.
That's their answer. And if you're good with that, have a great day, because things are feeling good. If you're not okay with that, let's swim outside the breakers and watch this whole thing burn down. Now, I'm not one who's willing to say America is over. America is, even though I joke about that, America's, done, but it's going to be damaged. Mm-hmm. The natural disaster that is MAGA, the natural disaster that is the Trump administration, will wreak its holy hell on this country. Mm-hmm. And then we'll have to clean it up. Like every Republican administration that damages the economy, a Democrat comes in and fixes it. And if you think I'm making that up, run a quick little Google search on how that has gone over the last 50 years. Debts go up, the economy struggles, and then Democrats come in and fix it. Now, the question is, can Donald Trump break this country enough that it makes the repair of it so difficult that we're not putting the leg in a cast, but we've amputated the leg? Is it going to be this bad? And all indications, if you have a magic 8-ball, all indications are, yep, that's what's going to happen.
Yeah.
And Congress is going along with it even when they know they shouldn't.
Yeah.
And you know what else they're doing? They're pushing it through in a big old hurry to try to get it done by when? July 4th. Why? Well, that would be a great time for Freedom Bill. It's so ridiculous that their choice is, it's like someone saying, honey, don't let the drywall mud dry in there. Just put paint on it. We've got people coming over at 6. Like, no, that's a terrible way to remodel. This is a terrible way to put a generational bill into place. It's terrible. To put an artificial date on it that you just want because, I don't know, July 4th seems good. You know who would say that? The guy who reaches out to the president of AT&T through a Truth Social post because his people can't seem to organize a call.
Yeah. And
that's the guy.
Donald Trump knows, and his advisors know, that they've got one shot. Their ideas are unpopular.
Yes.
Their support level within Congress is shaky.
Oh yeah,
it is. They can't do one bill after another like the Biden administration did, where you're addressing different issues one at a time, where you're arguing the merits or lack thereof of those individual issues one at a time and passing those things or not passing those things.
Yep.
Donald Trump knows that if and his advisors know that if they take these things one at a time, they're going to go down to defeat over and over and over again. And so the best thing, we have a satanic ability to twist scripture.
Hey, you know who else?
David,
so there's a comment. Okay.
Part of the strategy here is we've got one shot.
Yeah.
Because they know they're going to lose Congress,
a
year and a half from now. And, we're going to be into campaigning mode. So Congress people want to get this done as fast as possible.
Yeah. And then start lying
so that
about
it's
it.
not fresh in people's memories. And, and so that's why they're ramming this through.
Yes. And the other thing that's going to happen is many of the implications of this won't take place in people's lives for another year or two.
Yeah.
And by the time this all starts rolling down and creates a generational damage, Trump's going to be off selling cologne or phone services.
He's already doing that.
Or
what's next?
Golf club head covers. I think it's going to be golf clubs. I think there's going to be an actual set of Trump cheaters. Because, the guy is notoriously a cheater, even at golf. It's just, Of course he is. Cheats on his wife. He cheats on his taxes. He cheats in federal court and then is convicted of convicted of felonies in the state of New York. Yeah. Yeah, that's who. Yeah. That's who they get. And of course he cheats at golf. Of course. Yeah. Which he does. It's so well documented. All right. Well, cheater in chief. Congress could do something about it. I wish they would. What can we all do? We got to speak up. You got to say something. Talk about how terrible this bill is. And then you know what's going to happen? People are going to stop thinking about it because 8% of Americans know what's in this bill. Do you know who's included in the 92%? Congress. That's a good one.
Well done.
That's a good one.
I like that.
I'm going to go off on that prideful note. All right. Hey, thanks, y'all. Glad to have you all with us, of course. Thank you, Tim. Timothy, good to see you here. Hi, Mary. Hi, Mr. Ciano, Yabitz. David, glad to have you. Hey, Trumper people, we love having you around here. Please continue to come and to comment, and we try to give extra special attention to your comments. Now, saying that we're satanic, a satanic ability to twist scripture, that just makes us sound even more like Jesus from the Gospels, and we don't need any more of that.
That's right.
Well, you know your gospel pretty well, I bet, David. Bet you're aware of them saying you must do this by the power of Beelzebub. Bet you know that. I mean, I don't know. Maybe like some of us, you have a master's degree in that stuff. I don't know. You might know a lot about it. Duke Ripid. Boy, that's a great name. Come on. Well done. Squirrely Prepper. Always glad to have you around. Nick. Yep. Who else are we missing? John.
Alex was in early today.
What's this one? Damaging America by making it great again. Have another cup of Coke. I don't know what that means, but I like it. Hi, Abby. If Abby's still here, Marilyn. Sorry we missed some of you way back here. Probably in the middle of a rant about Adam Smith. Sorry about that rant, Michael. But glad to have you. All right, the rest of you, thanks for being a good part. Joni Marie, of course. Fred from Arizona. Good to have all of you here on the chat. You know, some people, I watch a lot of YouTube and a lot of YouTube live streams, and some people do all that hello at the beginning. I find it intolerable. I mean, now at least if people quit, they know they're just going to miss our last little funny jokes at the end, which always are sort of if you've not been around the podcast, somehow right at the end, just before we're going to click shut it off, something ridiculous happens.
And then we go for 10 more minutes.
And then we just giggle just like a couple of kids sitting in the back of a fundamentalist church. All right, we done?
We're done.
Okay, bye.